Hi there, welcome to the third video of week 10. We're going to talk about advocating for our children. So if I was to make another learning goal, I may say something like, I would like to become more aware of the ways I need to advocate for my children. So some takeaway messages. The parenting skills learned in this course can be used to advocate for your children. Advocating for your children means supporting and representing their best interests in the community at large. To advocate well for your children, you need to know them well, monitor them closely, keep good documentation, and know how to access resources on their behalf. You may find yourself advocating for your child with a doctor, dentist, mental health professional, school personnel, or community member. We are revisiting just some more time out tips. Usually we would do a role play if we were in class, but I could not find a good video of it. So I just thought that I'd list some. Your voice and body language should be calm. Your direction should be direct. Do not argue. And remember not to grab or yank things from a child's hand. Okay, back to the advocating. Sorry, that was a little out of place. So you are an expert. I want you to think of the secret language that your child speaks that only you know. What are the things that you have to tell the other caregivers in your child's life that they mean? So, for example, when my child strokes their eyebrow or eyelashes with their index finger, I know that it means they're tired. On a notes page, I want you to write this sentence frame down and fill it in for your child. Do as many as you can think of. So some other common things could be that when your child needs to go potty, they do a certain dance or sit a certain way. Maybe when they get really hangry, they're hungry, and it starts to get them angry and they need a snack. Maybe when they are very silent and quiet, they are needing their blanket or their little lovey. For our teenagers, maybe when they are very argumentative, that means that they didn't sleep well or they're stressed about something else. Maybe when they are listening to their favorite singer, it means that they're feeling low. We want to think about what are the secret things that we would have to tell a babysitter that they would mean, the secret codes that our children tells. Maybe even like the secret words that they use. Maybe not secret, maybe secret's not a good word, but kind of those like silly family words that only people in your family know what they mean. So it is your job to advocate on your child's behalf in collaboration with other experts in their life. This could include teachers, doctors, coaches, etc. They may be an expert in one field, but only you are the expert on your child. They will not understand why your child does what he does and what all of his cues and signals mean unless they are told. So if when your child keeps their head down on their desk, that means that they are so tired because they didn't sleep last night, because they were having nightmares, or they were not feeling good, or they had to stay at grandma's house instead of at home. Telling the teachers and the other people in their life that when they do this, it means this, it causes that teacher, those other caregivers in your child's life, to be more empathetic and to be more accommodating. Maybe the teacher had thought that they were just being, being opposing to what their directions were. They just didn't want to follow the directions when, no, actually they were really tired. And this is what they do when they're really tired. We haven't been sleeping well. It's going to cause that teacher to take a different approach. It's your job to have that communication, to speak with the different caregivers in your children's life. Be willing to be annoying. I am always the annoying caregiver or auntie or teacher or mentor in all these kids' lives, and I just don't really feel shame about it. I want to make sure that the different caregivers in my kids' lives are on the same page as me. So you've learned and practiced a lot of skills that can help you be an effective advocate for your child in PIO. Some are effective speaking, effective listening, problem solving, emotion regulation, goal statements, expressing empathy, preparing a plan, writing a letter, making a phone call, using reward plans, collaboration skills. All of these things we've practiced in PIO up until this point. You have all of the skills needed to be an effective advocate. I want you to think about who in your life have you seen act as an advocate for yourself or someone else. Maybe someone was a really great advocate for you, maybe a teacher or your mom or your older brother or your neighbor. Maybe they weren't an advocate for you, but you've known someone that they were just really, really good at going to bat for other people, whether that was their kids or themselves or someone else. I want you to take a minute and think about what being a good advocate looks like. So a really important piece of your parent job is that you are monitoring and noticing what is going on with your children. You need to know your children well. Monitor their activities, habits, and behaviors so that if you can notice any changes and then follow up, and if need be, advocate for your child. A friend told me a story once about his son, a normally active, healthy teen whose after-school habits began to change. The teen would come home, eat a lot of food, and then take a nap. My friend knew that was a big change in behavior. He knew that it could be due to a growth spurt, but he also knew it could be a sign of marijuana use. He tracked the behavior for a week or so and then confronted his son. His son denied using pot, but when the parents put him in the car to get a urine analysis, he confessed that he had been using. This story is an example of a parent doing their job and being an expert on their child. They knew their child's habits well, and when they changed it, they got involved to find out why. This parent did their job well. You may already know that your child struggles in a particular area. Monitoring can help you be clear on the issues or problems so that you can describe them to a professional. Monitoring can also help track changes in a child's physical or psychological health. Monitoring can give you an idea that something may be wrong and that you should follow up with teachers, doctors, etc. as soon as possible. So let's add monitoring to our list of skills needed for being an effective advocate. The next skill is to keep an accurate records and documentation. Let's make a list of the records and documentation you should keep for all of your children. So the next page is 10.2.1, records to keep for your child. This is in the yellow book. During phone calls, conferences, or letter writing, it will be helpful for you to have official documents to support your requests. Keep these documents in a safe, fireproof container. I want you to go ahead and pause the video while you read these different documents to report that you need to make sure to have for your children. There are two places that advocating for your children may be particularly difficult, and this is in the school system and the mental health system. Let's take a look now at some resources to help you be an effective advocate for your children in those systems. Let's start with the school system. So I want you to take a minute, pause, turn to, in your yellow book, 10.2.2, Advocating for Your Child's School Issues. I want you to think about if you or someone you know has any direct experience advocating for your children in the school system. Then I want you to pause this video, read through the worksheet, and highlight or take notes about things that stood out at you. Unfortunately, we can't discuss them together as a table, but I would love to see what you highlighted or hear about it this week when we meet on our Teams meeting. Next is mental health. Advocating for your child through mental health issues. So this is 10.2.3 in your book. And again, I asked, does anyone have direct experience advocating for your child in the mental health system, either yourself or someone you know? I want you to think about what that experience was like. And then I want you to pause this video and I want you to read through 10.2.3 on your own. Again, highlight, take notes. I'd love to hear about some takeaways you had, and hopefully you'll come to the Thursday meeting and we can talk about it there. Then on 10.1.4 is a space to write down different hotlines. I think that as many hotlines as you want to fit on there is marvelous. I also want to tell you about 211 info. So 211 info, you can call, text, email, or search their online databases. If you call during hours that people are there, do that during those hours, a real live person responds. 211 info is the resource and referral line. And so they do a very good job. I get an email from them every 6 months saying, here's the parenting classes you have listed on your website. Is that still accurate information? And I edit it or change it. I also call them and say, hey, I'm going to be teaching this parenting class next month. Can you advocate for this? They do a really great job of this. So this is, if you only have space or room for one number, 211. You can also go onto their website, 211info.org, and search their online database. Okay. I realize now that I only did one of the learning goals, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the one that we started at the very beginning, and hopefully you're feeling confident enough to finish that second one on your own if you did it. If you were not able to, then, or you need some help, please feel free to bring that to the Thursday night meeting or reach out to your coaches. So if my learning goal was, I would like to learn how to use privilege removal and or timeout instead of spanking, I may say some things I did to accomplish this goal is we watched videos about spanking versus timeout, and we learned about different ways to make timeout successful. And then it asks me, how can I use this skill? And I just said, this can help me set up effective timeouts in the future. Your answers could be the same as mine, or they could be different. I know that this is a big topic that I certainly could talk on for a long, long time, and I recognize that without the group discussions, we aren't able to scratch the surface of all of it. And so, again, I invite you to be there on Thursday night and we can talk about these different things. I also want to point out that next week, week 11, we cover adolescence, and that's where we will teach behavior management and positive discipline strategies with the older kiddos. So if you have older kids and you're feeling a little left out today, that's okay. We are going to come to that age group next week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will talk again soon. Take care.